Imagine a world where every transaction you make is secured, verified, and recorded by thousands of computers, all without relying on a bank or central authority. Every single action you take on the internet leaves a permanent, unchangeable mark. It's transparent, auditable, and practically invincible to fraud. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's not. It's the magic of blockchain technology. But here's the catch. No one tells you how it actually works. People talk about blockchain like it's some mystical force that powers Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but when you ask the hard questions, it's like crickets. Well, today that changes. We're diving deep into the secret sauce of blockchain, and trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to view everything, from the way we handle money to how we trust systems, completely differently. You're about to discover the actual mechanics of blockchain, the nuts and bolts that make it tick. It's not just about cryptocurrency. It's a whole new paradigm, and it's ready to change everything. Let's break this down, shall we? What is blockchain? Let's start with the basics. Blockchain is essentially a public digital ledger that records transactions in a way that is decentralized, secure, and transparent. It's like a digital notebook, but it's not just written by one person. It's written by thousands, if not millions, of people. Computers, actually, which we'll call nodes. These nodes work together to verify and confirm transactions. The beauty of blockchain is that it's immutable. Once something is written to it, it's locked in forever. No going back. No changing it. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't some mysterious, abstract concept. Blockchain is built on several key principles. And once you understand them, you'll see how blockchain isn't just about crypto. It's about the future of trust. Blocks. The building blocks of blockchain. Let's get one thing clear. Blockchain is made up of blocks. I know, shocker. But these aren't just any blocks. They are the building blocks of an entire new financial and technological system. Each block contains a bundle of transactions. Think of each block as a container that holds a group of information, like a batch of receipts from your favorite online store. But these aren't ordinary receipts. They're verified and validated by everyone in the network before they're allowed into the system. There's no room for fake purchases or fraudulent activities here. Once a block is full of transactions, it gets chained to the previous block. But, and this is key, there's no way to alter the contents of a block once it's linked. You can't go back and change the data. It's permanent, locked, and verified. A block can contain thousands of transactions, but once it's sealed, it can never be undone. That's why blockchain is known for being secure and tamper-resistant. Nodes, the guardians of the blockchain. Now, what keeps these blocks in check? You've got the nodes. A node is essentially a computer that participates in the blockchain network. These nodes are responsible for verifying and validating transactions before they are added to the blockchain. Think of them as the security guards of the system. But here's where it gets interesting. You don't need to trust any one person or one institution to verify transactions. The blockchain is decentralized, meaning no single person, company, or government controls the network. Instead, thousands or even millions of independent nodes work together to validate every transaction. It's like a massive group of people keeping an eye on things 24/7. Each time a transaction is made, it's broadcast to the entire network. The nodes then work to verify that the transaction is legitimate. If it checks out, the transaction is added to the block, and once the block is full, it's added to the blockchain. This process is known as consensus. What's the key takeaway here? The blockchain isn't controlled by a central authority. It's collectively managed by the entire network. That's what makes it so revolutionary and trustworthy. Hashing, the security powerhouse. Now here's the part that really makes blockchain stand out. Hashing. If you've ever heard of encryption or cryptography, then you're already familiar with the concept. But hashing takes this to the next level. Hashing is the process of taking data, like a transaction, and turning it into a fixed-length string of characters. This string is called a hash, and it's unique to the original data. If someone changes even a tiny bit of the data, the hash will be completely different. This makes it nearly impossible to manipulate or alter data without getting caught. Let's say you're sending a transaction. Once it's verified by the nodes, it gets hashed, turned into a string of characters. This string is attached to the transaction, and the block that contains your transaction gets its own unique hash. This ensures that any tampering with the block would be immediately noticeable. No one can go back and change the contents of a block without changing the entire blockchain, which would alert the entire network to the fraud. Transparency and immutability. The power of trust. Here's the big one: transparency. In a traditional financial system, when you make a transaction, you trust the bank to handle it. But in the world of blockchain, trust isn't placed in a bank or government. It's placed in the system itself. Blockchain offers total transparency. Every transaction is visible to anyone on the network. And don't think transparency means compromising privacy. With blockchain, every transaction is public, but the details are anonymized. You don't see who made the transaction, just that it happened. This ensures that while the network is open and transparent, your personal identity is protected. But the most powerful feature of blockchain? Immutability. Once data is recorded on the blockchain, it's permanent. Forever. No edits, no deletions. You can't erase history. This is crucial for a system that thrives on trust. People can feel confident that once something is on the blockchain, it's locked in. This is the foundation that makes blockchain so disruptive. No more shady backroom deals, no more behind-the-scenes changes to your transaction. Everything is out in the open and it's set in stone, forever. How blockchain differs from traditional systems. Now that we've broken down the mechanics, let's talk about how blockchain changes everything. In traditional systems, trust is placed in intermediaries, banks, governments, and other institutions. These intermediaries have the power to change things, manipulate data, and even reverse transactions. But with blockchain, there's no room for middlemen. The power is in the hands of the network itself. With blockchain, the system is transparent, decentralized, and tamper-proof. Transactions are verified by multiple nodes, making it nearly impossible for anyone to cheat the system. It's a complete overhaul of how we trust and verify information in a digital world. Why blockchain is more than just crypto. You might be thinking, okay, this sounds great for Bitcoin, but why does it matter for anything else? Well, here's the thing. Blockchain isn't just for crypto. It's a game changer for every industry. Let's look at healthcare. With blockchain, we can store patient data securely, and every update to that data would be permanent and transparent. No more lost medical records, no more fraud. In supply chains, blockchain can track the journey of a product from manufacturer to consumer. Imagine knowing exactly where your food comes from, who touched it, and when it arrived at the store. It's all verifiable and immutable, making fraud almost impossible. And don't even get me started on voting. Blockchain could be the solution to rigged elections. With blockchain, each vote could be recorded and verified, making sure that no one tampered with the results. A truly transparent voting system. The bottom line. So, there you have it, blockchain in a nutshell. It's not just a buzzword, it's a complete revolution in how we handle information, transactions, and trust. From Bitcoin to supply chains to healthcare, blockchain is changing the world. But here's the real kicker. This is just the beginning. Blockchain is still evolving, and the possibilities are endless. From decentralized apps to smart contracts to global finance, blockchain is laying the foundation for a new era of technology. And you don't want to be left behind. And that's how blockchain works. Fascinating, right? Now you're not just a passive observer. You're armed with the knowledge to understand the underlying technology behind cryptocurrencies, and much more. This is the future of the internet, and you've just scratched the surface.